Good morning, Professor Black. I hope everything is going good with you. So, for this week's ethics video, I decided to examine chapter 22 in our book, which covered the case study of a journalist whose story about school lunches was killed off due to the power that advertisers play, especially at smaller news stations. So the chapter starts off talking about a reporter, Susan Bennett, whose name was changed for this particular story because she's still in the news business. She served not only as an anchor but also as a consumer reporter, examining consumer complaints in the area and trying to get some kind of reaction out of these stories. She covered the story of a man who had reached out to her in response to the school lunches that her daughter had been served at her school. He felt they weren't necessarily nutritious. There were things like country fried steak and fried chicken in there and things like that. And he felt that this was partly causing some health issues on his daughter's part. Ms. Bennett interviewed Department of Health officials, but when she tried to reach out to the school for an in person comment, she didn't really get anywhere with them, and she had to settle for a written statement for her story. Right before the story was due to air, she was told that it was being put on hold. Apparently, a member of the school board, who also was one of the news station's biggest advertisers, since he was a local car dealer, he wanted the story put on hold because he didn't like the idea of bad press being involved with a school that he was affiliated with and his children was affiliated with. His children did go to school there. So basically, he threatened to pull his ads from the network if they decided to run the story. So the management decided to pull the story. And in the end, the story never ran, and it forced the journalist to kind of end up practicing a lot of self censorship with reporting on stories in the future. Now, I think that this is a highly unethical situation, not just for the car dealer who pulled his business, but also the news manager who thought he was practicing proper journalism ethics when pulling the story. In my mind, the story comes first, and the fact that this particular story happened to be very loosely affiliated with a prominent advertiser should not have swayed the management's decision. If anything, I think they should have done a story on top of that saying how the car dealer cared more about his reputation and the reputation of his business than that of the health of students and his kids who also attended the school. So I would say if it were me, if I would have ran the story anyway and just let the cards fall where they may in this particular situation. Thank you very much for your time. Have a good weekend.